The first punch came without warning, a sharp crack against the jaw that sent the Royal Guard's cap tumbling into the dirt. But even as the SWAT officer's gloved hand recoiled, the guard didn't flinch. He simply looked up, eyes locked like steel, and said in a calm, almost chilling voice, "You have no idea what you've just started." Before we dive deeper into this extraordinary story of courage, dignity, and an unbreakable spirit, remember this: real strength is not about size, weapons, or uniforms. It's about the heart that refuses to bow. If stories like this inspire you, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the lessons hidden in moments like these. It was a rainy Tuesday in central London. The drizzle had turned the cobblestones into dark mirrors reflecting the flickering street lamps. Most tourists had taken shelter, but outside the gates of St. James's Palace, one man stood motionless. That man was Sergeant Alexander Ford. 38 years old, a veteran of 2 tours in Afghanistan before joining the Royal Household Division. His face was the stoic mask the guards were known for. But behind his eyes lay years of silent battles, not just on foreign soil, but within himself. On the opposite side of the square, a black armored van rolled to a stop. Its matte finish and tinted windows made it look out of place in this historic setting. Out stepped 6 men in SWAT uniforms, black tactical vests, helmets with dark visors. The leader, tall, broad-shouldered, with a scar running from eyebrow to chin, bore the name tag, M. Kane. Kane stepped closer, his voice a growl. "You're in our way, soldier." But Alexander didn't move. The guard's code was clear: until relieved of duty, he was to stand his post, no matter what. Kane smirked at his men. "Let's see how long he lasts." The first shove came hard. Alexander's boots scraped against the wet stone, but he stood firm. Then Kane swung a brutal punch. The metallic clink of the guard's chinstrap echoed in the rain. Alexander had endured worse. In Afghanistan he had faced fire for hours with no reinforcements. This moment felt strangely familiar. He remembered his grandfather's words. The measure of a man is not in how he stands when it's easy, but in how he stands when the world tries to break him. The SWAT team circled him, taunting, shoving, trying to provoke a reaction. But then Kane made his mistake. He reached for Alexander's rifle. The crowd gasped. The guard's rifle wasn't just ceremonial, it was a symbol of the crown. Touching it without permission was an offense. Alexander's gloved hands moved with lightning speed. In seconds, Kane was disarmed, his wrist locked, his knees buckling. Using precise military moves, Alexander blocked another attack with the rifle stock and pivoted to shield the palace gates. "Stand down," he said, his voice carrying the weight of a man who had led soldiers through hell. Before the fight could escalate further, a sharp whistle pierced the air. From the palace gates, a high-ranking officer in a dark trench coat stepped forward. Colonel Richard Hale, decorated with more medals than anyone present, looked straight at the SWAT team. "Step away from my sergeant, now." The SWAT froze. Kane shouted, "Your sergeant assaulted us." But the colonel's reply was cold enough to cut glass. "No. What you saw was restraint. If Sergeant Ford had truly acted, none of you would still be standing." The crowd erupted in whispers, phones recording every moment. Colonel Hale told them. "This man served his country with honor long before he stood guard here. He saved more lives than you can count, including mine. And you just assaulted one of the finest soldiers I've ever commanded." Kane's bravado crumbled. The team retreated, boots echoing in the wet street. Alexander spoke only once more. "Strength isn't in the weapon you carry. It's in the discipline to know when not to use it." As the rain eased, Colonel Hale placed a hand on Alexander's shoulder. "You didn't just protect the gates today, Ford. You protected the honor of every soldier who's ever worn this uniform." Alexander simply replied. That's the duty, sir. True warriors don't stand for applause. They stand because they must. The crowd dispersed. The square grew quiet again. And Sergeant Ford stood at his post, unshaken. If this story touched you, remember, the battles worth winning are often the ones no one sees. Like this video to share that truth. Comment to honor those who stand in silence. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of real courage.